So I don't know if a lot of you people know, but the Sims 4 is trying to deliver this idea to us and convince us that this is normal to essentially charge money for mods and custom content in what they will call a Sims 4 marketplace. Okay, and if you don't understand what the problem with that is, I am here to explain it to you, and I think plenty of avid simmers understand what the issue with this is, but if you don't, then keep listening. So basically, this whole idea here is to take custom content, whether that's lip combos, hair, clothes, anything like that, put it behind a paywall where you can buy this kind of currency and convert that currency into purchases for various cosmetics and items. The issue with that is custom content is supposed to be free. Mods are supposed to be free. So this whole system here, usually you'll have these simmers create content and they'll put it behind a paywall, maybe like Patreon. That's the most common one I see it on. And you're supposed to, right? And this is literally in the terms of service. After a certain amount of time, you are supposed to let the custom content be free. A lot of these simmers do not do this, but it's in the Sims own code of conduct in like terms of service. So I find it absolutely hilarious that they are now starting to encourage this idea of, hey, let's pay for content. And it's like, who's trying to pay $5 for a single piece of hair? And it just shows the current state of not only EA and The Sims, but just gaming as a whole. A lot of these companies have no passion behind what they create and just see it as a chance to milk gamers for what they have. And I've noticed that EA is one of the leaders when it comes to this. The Sims 4 is an unplayable game. It is so broken that after every patch, after everything, every update they do, it just further breaks the, and you have to constantly update your CC, constantly update your mods, delete this, delete that, spend hours just to get your fucking game to work after every update. And the problem is they update this shit so frequently that it is a reoccurring event where you have to sit there scrolling and figuring out what is breaking my game, right? And I also have a problem with the fact that it is a life sim game. And you would expect that you get basic things, right? You would expect that you should be able to do laundry in your game. You should be able to work jobs and go with your Sims to these jobs. You should be able to have maybe like there are just certain things in a game that you should already have if it's a life sim. So it's very hilarious that The Sims 4 will create a pack for everything, okay? And I mean everything. Like they have a laundry, I believe it is a stuff pack, right? I think it is a stuff pack. Why do you need a stuff pack for laundry, dude? Why do you need a stuff pack for movie nights? Why do you need any pack to be able to have movies, bowling nights, Love Struck? They have all of these expansion packs for things that you should already have. The expansion pack for school, horses. You're telling me city living is an expansion pack? I should be able to live in the city in a sim game as is. I should be able to have all pets, literal pets, sim game. And I have to spend $30 to get an expansion pack for it? What? And don't get me wrong, I have fallen for the trap. I really have. I have fallen for this trap and I have purchased expansion packs. But does that make it okay? No. In fact, let us take a gander here. You see my 700 something hours, it would be more. But I do have a lot of packs, okay? And it's just sad, right? I mean, Get to Work, Cats and Dogs, City Living, Dine Out, Discover University, High School Years, Island Living, Movie Hangout, Knitting, Paranormal, Parenthood, Realm of Magic, Spa, Tiny, Toddler, Vampires. Okay, maybe some of these things you could turn into packs, like maybe vampires. That's a fun little add-on. Realm of Magic, sure. Paranormal, those could understandably be packs. That's not a part of like life sim games. But like, come on, having a spa, toddler stuff, being able to have tiny homes, movie hangouts, being able to live on a fucking island, being able to experience high school years with your sim, university, dining, like all of that shit should not be locked behind damn near like $30 stuff, $20 stuff, whatever. It is just a fucking money grab. Why is The Sims 4 so shitty? Like, I literally will click 5 fucking times for my sim to do something, and they don't do that thing. Excuse my language. So annoying. It is so annoying that I have to sit there clicking the same thing over and over again just to get my sim to do it. I should not have to do that. And like I said, it just shows the current state of this game, where they only see The Sims 4 as a way of, hey, what impossibly outlandish thing can we do to milk our supporters for everything they have? And this one takes the cake. Release expansion packs. Okay, at least you still have mods in CC to enjoy your game. But you're telling me now you're trying to take the very thing that makes your game remotely fun and playable and trying to lock it behind a paywall? Sad day, Twisted Cat, one of my favorite CC creators, sold out. She is going to be a part of this program here, this marketplace, where their custom content is locked behind a paywall, which is very interesting because how they're doing it is 70% of the money made from it goes to EA, 30% goes to the creators, which I find very interesting because they can lock it behind Patreon and at least they get to control their finances. They get to retain most of the proceeds of what they get more off of Patreon than they would from The Sims 4 marketplace made by EA, okay? 30% is really crazy. Not even half. No, 30%. Is that not like the most insane thing you've heard before? I'm very perplexed on why any of these simmers want to do that. Like, why would you want to get only 30% of your proceeds? I'm very confused on what compelled some of these simmers to sell out and do this. I do know there are greedy ass custom content makers who will just lock everything they make behind a paywall for God knows what reason. I couldn't understand it, but whatever. There are people who are willing to pay. That's perfectly fine. I don't judge anyone who wants to pay for that stuff, but I just find it crazy because, like, for me, I have maybe 200 gigabytes worth of mods in CC. I can only imagine how much my custom content that I download would cost in dollar values now. And I know a lot of people are also saying this. It is mainly for the console players. Okay, yes, I understand for console players, they cannot download custom content. And that is a tragic thing. I can understand. But that still doesn't justify charging money for something that like you can, there's no way people on console are going to go out of their way to genuinely buy that shit. Like $5 for hair? Really? Are you actually telling me that people will buy that? And now that I think about it, people probably will buy it, and there will be those few people that actually do. But genuinely, how does anyone expect change if they accept what EA gives them? Like, they are going to release this idea, they're going to put it into motion, have people actually buy shit and realize, yeah, okay, this works. People are going to buy it. So let's normalize it. And no, it is not normal. Imagine, and not just in The Sims 4, imagine if every other modding community for other games started locking shit behind a paywall. It would not work. It would be unacceptable. Hell would break loose. But for some reason, when it comes to the Sims community, and I'm not saying it's everyone, they're willing to accept certain bullshit from EA. And I really need another game to come in, rattle everything, so that EA will realize, especially when it comes to their Sims 4 game, that they're not the top dogs and they can't just do whatever the fuck they want and people will not support whatever they're doing. I think if everyone, and I mean it, if everyone band together and did not buy anything from this marketplace, didn't engage with it, none of it, then it would force them to get rid of it, right? It would literally, it would fail. And if it fails, then, well, pull it. They're not going to keep it around, right? And it'll show them that ideas like this are unacceptable and that you should not milk fans for everything they have, because after a while, they're going to get sick and tired of it. And I will admit, okay, I was on the bandwagon with Inzoi. I thought Inzoi would completely destroy The Sims 4, and don't get me wrong, I think Inzoi is a pretty fun game. There's just certain content to me that's lacking that The Sims 4 has that I enjoy a little more. But if it continues on at this rate, and I'm genuinely, I'm sick and tired of it. If it continues on like this, I will not be supporting like The Sims 4 any further, anything EA fucking puts out in terms of The Sims. And it's very disappointing that they went in, hyped up this idea of The Sims 5, it's coming, right? And then they just put a plug on that, realizing, hey, we can continue making this bullshit shitty Sims 4 and keep updating it and just giving our people slop because they're playing it. So why take the time to make a whole new game, right? What's the point? We're lazy sacks of shit. And I don't blame devs for what is happening, okay? I'm not going to sit here and say it is the developers' fault. 9 times out of 10, in fact, maybe 99% of the time, developers are at the mercy of the top dogs, the execs, the fucking company itself. So as much as they may have creative, fun ideas and want to improve the game, want to do better for it, they cannot, because you have these corporate big dogs who don't give a fuck about what people want. They just want to achieve their bottom line and will tell the developers, hey, do this, do that. No creativity. Don't do anything you guys want to do. No, do this, and people should be happy with it. And it's a very, very unfortunate story that we see not only with The Sims, but so many other games we have seen where developers have such grand old ideas. They wanted to do something entirely different, but they are forced to do what the company wants and cannot have the creative freedom that they should have as developers. And the sad reality is when things fail in the gaming world, the developers are the ones to suffer and get laid off or fired as if it were their fault when they did exactly what they were told to do. And you know who gets richer? These literal executives in C-suites. The C-suites are the ones who get richer when things fail, even though they're doing nothing for the space. And I'm so tired of seeing it. It is so annoying. And I don't think it's going to change, honestly. But that was pretty much just my whole entire rant when it comes to not only The Sims 4, but just gaming as a whole. It has become a cesspool of unoriginality, milking gamers for money, and then abandoning projects or pulling the plug when things don't go right, or just delivering shitty things that people didn't ask for. And I will never understand what the end goal is when they do that shit. Like, imagine if you actually listened to what the people wanted in the first place. You would have lifelong fans, supporters, trust in the product, more money. People would be willing to actually buy your products if you deliver quality. So I will never understand this whole idea or what goes on in the boardroom where they're like, hey, let's do this thing that we know everyone will hate, but we don't care. Think about it. Does that make any sense? It'll never register to me what is going on in their heads when they do that BS. But yes, thank you for coming to this rant. That was essentially everything.